Hello, hello, hello. Good to see you. You get fairy dust, I get fairy dust, Amelie gets fairy dust, and we are starting a new series, a new book, and it is called dun, da, 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 Complex PTSD, From Surviving to Thriving by Pete Walker. There's an Audible book, there's a Kindle, and then there's this version. So I highly recommend this book, and we're gonna go through it. It's gonna be fucking amazing. It is really enlightening me, validating me. It makes me feel so strong and so good and so proud of the path that I've taken to heal my childhood trauma. So let's get started. Chapter 1. Page 1, Journey from Recovering from CPTSD, Complex Post-Traumatic Stress Disorder. One of the first things he says, he's writing the book from the perspective of a person, quote, who has experienced a great reduction of symptoms over the years. Same. I also wrote it from the viewpoint of someone who has discovered many silver linings in the long and winding, bumpy road of recovering from CPTSD. Same. That is why, that is what has made the magic in my life. That what he's talking about, the silver linings, the beauty, the just getting to know yourself. I never knew it was so awesome. Like I never knew that just discovering and truly knowing who I am would bring me so much bliss. I really like the perspective that he's written this from, because I seem to learn more from people who live it and don't just teach it. So I appreciate he delivers knowledge on us, but he's also speaking from his own experience. And I just find that to be so meaningful. It makes me so grateful, and it's what I do. And the thing about this is, like, he's the real fucking deal. Like, he's the real fucking deal. Pete Walker, bow down to you. Thank you. You're amazing. I am a fan of yours. And it just makes me feel, we're even in my journey of self-help books and trying to get better, sometimes I think like, oh, this is going to be great. And then I get disappointed that, that the person whose hands that I'm in as I make myself vulnerable to this information is, might let me down with something else that they say. But this guy, like, he just totally resonates. He's the real fucking deal. Like, and I need that. I need that to heal. I need the real fucking deal. Okay. The first, the good news about CPTSD. It's a learned set of responses. That means that we can unlearn them, bitch. Like, we can unlearn them. These are, this is something, it is learned. Bottom line, it is learned. It's not in your DNA, as he says. It's a disorder caused by nurture. So, let me just look real quick. I had held a couple of seminars discussing this book, which is why I decided to start making YouTube videos about it. And it's just been absolutely phenomenal, and I just wanted to share it with you too. There's a Whitney Cummings quote that I heard her say one time about codependency. I love how she's so open and out with her codependency issues. She said, the good news, so CPTSD, the good news is that the war is over. And the bad news is that, bitch, you lost. So I just love it. I love it because it's like, yes. And it's just owning it. Like, yeah, I'm fucked up. I've got this shit. Like, I fucking lost. But I am never going to be stopped growing and changing and learning and deeply comprehending that the things that I think are me are actually effects, directly or indirectly, of childhood trauma. And so, okay, so I really like the next on page 2. I like the thing he says, reparenting by committee. So, you've heard me say, like, we're the ones that we've been waiting for. It's us that we've been waiting to ride on the white horse. It's us. Like, and here we fucking are. Here you are. Here you are on your horse, like, ready to be there for yourself. But along the way, the magic is that other people can come along with their kindness. One of the people that has reparented me through love and kindness is my husband. Like, he's just another real deal. Like, he's just kind to me, and that has healed me as much as, I don't know, as much as has healed me, along with my commitment to therapy, weekly therapy for me, because just having the experience of someone to say, like, I will never leave you. I'm in this with you for the long run, is, and you believe him because of his values and his priorities, and, our commitment to work shit out when it doesn't go well between us. It's just, So we need that too. A teacher that came in and reparented you, a friend, a sibling, and for me, I take it as moments versus people. So, every now and then, somebody, a stranger will give me a kindness, and I didn't have to earn it. I didn't have to work for it. It was just given. And that's a blessing, and I put that in the reparenting by committee category. I'm like, you letting me do that it gives me, a little bit of a lift, because you see me, you want to honor me by this kindness, whatever it was. And so, yeah. Okay, so here we go. Here's something that was shocking. Let me look at the time. Is that he calls CPTSD, what we have, childhood trauma, worse than PTSD. And I was like, what? Because I always thought it was less than. Like, oh, somebody who's been in a war, or somebody who had, well, bitch, we've been in wars this whole time. But that somebody who had an accident or whatever, that obviously was worse than what I went through. And I like that he makes a case for that. For me, I don't like saying that it's worse. I like saying that it's different. I don't need to compare my pain to somebody who has, PTSD from a past experience. But for me, it was very validating. To me, it's saying, like, yours was fucking bad. It's fucking bad. Like, and I just appreciate, again, the real deal, not minimizing it. So again, I'm just going to say it's different, but he says it's worse. And here's why he says that. Page 3. CPTSD is a more severe form of post-traumatic stress disorder. It is delineated from this better-known trauma syndrome by 5 of its most common troublesome features. Emotional flashbacks, which I will explain for you later. I'll explain all this. Emotional flashbacks, toxic shame, self-abandonment, a vicious inner critic. I love his adjectives. They're important. It's a vicious inner critic, vicious inner saboteur. That's the language that I use. For those of you in recovery, vicious addictive voice, like, you know, and then social anxiety. And so for me, somebody who is an introvert, but also extremely shy and also have social anxiety, and I'm socially awkward, for me to have him include that in PTSD warmed my heart. Like, oh yeah, the reason I have social anxiety is because a life spent walking on eggshells and dealing with whatever that we had to deal with. Of course we're gonna have social anxiety. We're gonna be scared as fuck. No, I mean, the most panic I was every time growing up was recess. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do? Give me something to do. I don't know how to be in relationship with these fucking kids. Social anxiety, and then that just gets reinforced year after year after year after year. In my case, I also changed schools, so it was always like me trying to catch up with how to fucking interact with people my age. It was very, very confusing to me. I'm gonna say those again and then we'll end. It's delineated from the better known trauma syndrome, PTSD is that better known trauma syndrome, by 5 of its most common, what is this, Sesame Street? Like 5. You don't need me to hold up my hand with 5 fingers. You're like, I'm good, thank you. Oh shit. Socially awkward, emotional flashbacks, toxic shame, self-abandonment, a vicious inner critic, and social anxiety. So those are some hallmarks of PTSD. As you're reading this book, I had a lot of experience of like this book killing me softly. Like, oh, that's hard. As I've been teaching it to a small group that I have, it's hard for me too. Like, and I really tell them, like, please take care of yourself today. So anytime you're, learning this new shit, like, you have to be gentle with yourself. Like, give it time to sink in. Like, and if you want to listen to or watch a video of mine, but you don't want to hear this right now, you can't. COVID's a nightmare time. Like, I was supposed to be working on this book months ago, but I was like, this is not the time to do this deep work. But it's through a few synchronicities, it feels like for me the right time, but it may not be the right time for you. So please take care of yourself. And you can, so the videos here so far are kind of heavy, and so because we're dealing with codependency and now childhood trauma, which they're definitely related, ding. I want you to just head over to my Instagram, where it's just, there's a little bit more levity, still, I'm never not going to say hard shit, but this is hard and this is deep. So if you want a little bit of Elizabeth with less upset, you go over there. I love you. Thank you so much. I love you.